store. She's the one that yells more. Be-ba-ba-lula, she's my baby. Be-ba-ba-lula, I don't make money, baby. Be-ba-ba-lula, she's my baby, my baby, my baby. Let's rock again now.
One for the money, two for the show, three to get ready. Now go, cat, go, but don't you step on my blue suede shoe. You can do anything but lay off of my blue suede shoe. Well, you can knock me down, step in my face, slander my name all over the place, and do anything that you wanna do. But honey, lay off of my shoes. Don't you step on my blue suede shoe. You can do anything but lay off of my blue suede shoe. show. 3 to get ready. Now go, cat, go, but don't you step on my blue suede shoe. You can do anything but lay off of my blue suede shoe. But it's blue, blue suede shoe. Blue suede shoe. Yeah, blue suede shoe, baby. Blue suede shoe. You can do anything but lay off of my blue suede shoe. Told her goodbye, baby, diamond ring. If that diamond ring don't shine, he gonna take it to a private eye. If that private eye can't see, he better not take the ring from me. Oh, dearly call her nanny gold to make it pretty baby a Sunday coat. Oh, dearly call her bell cat to make it pretty baby a Sunday hat. Won't you come to my house with black cat bones? Take my baby away from home. Mother that photo, where's he been? Up to your house and gone again. Bo diddly, have you heard? My pretty baby said she was a bird.
'cause you're mine. Stop the things you do. What's up? I ain't lying. Yeah, I can't stand. Woo! No running around. I can't stand. No putting me down. I put a spell on you. Because you're mine. Oh, yeah. Stop the things you do. What's up? I ain't lying. Oh, oh, I love you. I love you. I love you anyhow. I don't care if you don't want me. I'm yours right now. I put a spell on you. Because you're mine. Ah, ah, ooh, ah, ooh,
Why do fools fall in love? Why do birds sing so gay? And lovers know when to break the day. Why do they fall in love? Why does the rain fall from up above? Why do fools fall in love? Why do they fall in love? Love is a losing game, and love can be a shame. I know of a fool you see, oh, that fool is me. Tell me why. Tell me why. Why do birds sing so gay? And lovers know when to break the day. Why do they fall in love? Why does the rain fall from up above? Why do fools fall in love? Why do they fall in love? Why does my heart skip a crazy beat? For I know it will reach the beat. Tell me why. Tell me why. Why do fools fall in
You women have heard of jalopies, you've heard the noise they make, but let me introduce my new Rocket 88. Yes, it's straight, just one way. Everybody likes my Rocket 88.
If you will now please be seated.
Hey everybody. Thank you for coming today. Before I'd like to start, I should give a shout out to all my siblings, Nick, Casey, and Cassie. Mostly because Nick asked, and I figured if I didn't give the other two a shout out, then I'd get beat up when I got home. So, all right, so let's just get into it. It's hard to believe that it's been 4 years. It doesn't feel like it at all. It all just kind of flew by. Yet here we stand, looking into the eyes of tomorrow and our future. I think that all the parents here can agree when I say that we just finished the easy part. I've been thinking about what I would say to my fellow classmates when this day came. The first thing that came to my mind was fear. Fear of what to come, fear of the unknown. This is something that always comes up when you think of your future. But the truth is, you shouldn't be scared. You should be excited of what is to come. The fear should be the pulling factor into making what is unknown known. Courage is being scared to death, but saddling up anyways. This is just one of the quotes that I live by, said by the great John Wayne, the Duke. I actually was repeating this quote all day today and on the way up to the stage, to be honest. I've lived with that quote since I was very young and never really understood what the true meaning of the quote was until just recently. When you let fear rule your life, then you've already lost. But if you use that fear to do what you never have, then you just took the next step up. But the next step up isn't going to be easy. It's going to get really hard. You can't sugarcoat it. Life is going to hit you super hard. It'll push you down until you have nothing left to give. You won't want to go on. You'll want to give up. But that's not what the human spirit is meant to do. We are meant to get beat down and get right back up. No matter how hard it gets, no matter what people say you can and cannot do, no matter your place in life, you can get back up. Work hard, play hard. This is another quote that I just learned just recently, actually. I was told this quote by a very successful person. Where you go after this and what you do, work hard, yeah, that's a given. But play just as hard, because then if you don't, life won't be worth it. My friends, this has been a very fast 4 years. I feel very lucky to have spent it with you. Thank you for the memories and the lessons. I've only lived here for 4 years, but it feels like I've known you all for a lot longer. Thank you to the faculty and staff for making me into the man that I am today. Also, a huge thank you to our parents and guardians who have been there through all the troubles, joys, and awkward moments. So I leave you all with this. Never let fear control your life. And never quit when it gets hard. Push back just a little harder. Thank you.
4 years ago, the class of 2020 walked into the unknown world of high school together, and today we're leaving it together. It's been a long 4 years and a short 4 years. Long because of the loads of homework and alarm clocks going off way too early, but it was short because of all of the memories, lifelong friendships, and truly interesting and amazing things we've learned, not only in school, but in life. We got through it all together, through the good and the bad, through the thick and the thin. It takes that kind of teamwork to survive anywhere in life. I know my experience is limited, but every problem we have overcome and every milestone we have reached has been because someone was there to support us. Whether it be parents or guardians, friends or teachers, Corvallis High School has done a great job at providing support to everyone. It's disappointing that we could not finish our time together the way we had wanted or foreseen, but even so, we got through it together as the class of 2020. Through these past years together, I've seen us all discover and devote ourselves to our passions, and we've grown immensely as a result. Today, as one road splits into 108 different paths, I can confidently say that we couldn't have done it without each other, so thank you. Nothing, not even COVID, can take away the memories we've made together during these 4 short years. I look forward to hearing about all of your successes in the years to come, and I'm proud to be a part of this graduating class of 2020.
So, for those of you who don't know me, my name is Maddie Beer, and I've had the pleasure of serving as the president for the class of 2020. Each class member has been waiting many years for this day to celebrate our achievements, our accomplishments, our perseverance, and our success as we close this chapter in our lives. And look, we made it. I know there are many friends and family members that are watching our ceremony live or listening to it through the radio. We know you're there and we appreciate your support, even if it must be from a distance. As I look around today, there are so many of you that have been here since the first day of kindergarten. 46 of our 180 graduating class members to be exact. I want to thank you all for helping us get here. Parents, teachers, friends, family members, the Corvallis community, and each one of our classmates. Every little bit has helped. Maybe it was bringing an extra box of crayons, going on the field trips, attending the extracurricular activities, the fundraisers, cleaning up after us, giving us all the advice, but most of all, being our cheerleaders. It truly takes a tribe, and I couldn't ask for a better group of people to have been on this journey with. As we look back on this chapter of our lives, there are going to be many big things that stand out, like the last 3 months of our high school career being spent at our homes. Every student's dream, right? Until it actually happens. I know there were many days when I caught myself saying, I'd do anything to be back with my friends. Yet weeks before, I was wishing I could be anywhere but school. Don't take the little things for granted, because like this year proved, it can all be taken away. As confusing as this year was, I do think it's pretty cool our last couple of days on campus were ones to remember, as we were blessed by the Warm Springs patient on Thursday and our last day being Friday the 13th. I wish you all the very best of luck in your next adventure, whatever it may be. Oh, and one more thing. I read a post a few weeks back about a dinner occasion where the individual was reminded to keep her fork. When asked why, she was told, because you'll need it for dessert. So to the class of 2020, do just that, because the best is yet to come.
Good morning and welcome to the 2020 Corvallis High School Commencement Ceremony. It is an honor to be here together in person as these fine young men and women prepare to complete another chapter in their journey of life. It is also a pleasure to know these graduates are surrounded by a group of individuals who have supported them throughout their high school career. I am proud to be part of a community that rallied together to support our students, focusing on the successes of our students to assist them in their journey towards graduation. Along with our school community, we must recognize the many individuals that have helped support these graduates along the way. Thank you to the parents, grandparents, siblings, aunts, uncles, family friends, and community members who have supported our graduates throughout their educational journey. From the moment your son or daughter was dropped off to kindergarten until the first day of their senior year of high school, these students have had numerous teachers guiding them along the way. Please take a moment to recognize the educators that these students have met in their 13 years of their educational experience. This year, I would especially like to thank the staff members in the high school. In the face of an overnight transition to remote and online learning, they managed to deliver the delivery of the remote learning with professionalism and grace. They spent countless hours reaching out to students to ensure student engagement in the learning process. They spent many hours with eyes glazed over behind a computer screen meeting with students remotely. And many of our teachers had Oscar performances in their renditions of the morning announcements. So thank you to the staff for helping each of these students reach their goal of graduation. Also at this time, I would like to thank our maintenance crew. So Jim, Greg, Gary, Russ D, Kenny, Michael, Isaac, and Dave for spending hours preparing for this event, as well as devoting their time to make the operations of Corvallis schools seamless. With a change in venue, risk of rain, and challenges that we faced, you all helped create a beautiful venue for our graduation. So thank you. Now to the class of 2020. What an adventure this past quarter of your high school career has become. If we could just step back in time, March 13th was the last day that you spent in the hallways, headed from class to class until you drove or rode the bus home or even walked after school. Reflecting back to March, our worries that began that week included daylight savings, a full moon, and Friday the 13th, all in the same week. Other than that, life seemed pretty normal. And now looking back in what seemed to happen overnight, our routines, our work experiences, and our lives changed. Schools were encouraged to close doors and move to alternative format for learning. You, as students, adapted. With your teachers, you worked through the details of Google Classroom, Zoom, Flipgrid, quizzes. But through this all, you impressed me with your resiliency and ability to overcome the transition from face-to-face instruction to remote learning. Your class has astonished me with your positive mindset. You took the obstacles and overcame them with grace and persistence. You held tight to your goal of graduating, and with a little help from your support group, you have cleared a hurdle that none of us have ever faced before. You proved us all wrong with your positive attitudes and willingness to adapt to the ever-changing guidelines and parameters. You kept your chin up, and even though school days, athletic events continued to be pushed back and then eventually canceled. So thank you to each of you who accomplished your goal of graduating for putting in the time, effort, and hard work to get where it took to be where you are today. I hope you take the experience, the education, and expertise that you have gained in Corvallis and apply these valuable lessons wherever you go. For many of you, this sudden departure from school broadened your horizons, sent you to work full-time, and helped you finalize your pathway to the future. Regardless of where your individual path takes you, what unites all of you is your willingness to go into the world and make it a better place. Learn from your situations, focus on your future, never give up, admit when you are wrong, and always keep moving forward regardless of the obstacles. You have already shown us that your determination and resiliency will continue to motivate you. So in closing, congratulations to each and every one of you as you move onwards in your new chapter of life. I wish you the very best in your future, and as always, I look forward to hearing back from you about where your goals, dreams, and aspirations take you. Continue to live your life with your 2020 vision. Your class will never be forgotten, as you forever hold a place in history. So thank you for allowing me to be a part of your experience. I have enjoyed working with each of you and helping you as you close this chapter and move to the next. I wish you all the very best. It is now my honor to introduce Superintendent of Schools, Tim Johnson.
Well, welcome everybody. I don't think the coronavirus had any idea how we were going to dress today, and I think we've got it licked. So thank you for being here on this wonderful day. I graduated in 1989. Now, you guys may think that's a long time ago, but that section of the crowd will probably think that wasn't that long ago. And I had my 30th high school graduation reunion last summer. And I remember I had never been to a high school reunion prior to that point. And I remember driving to the place where we were going to have the reunion and sitting in my car thinking, I don't want to go in. I wasn't that involved in high school, really, and it was one of those things where it was just, I don't know, I probably could have spent my time better somewhere else. But I went in, I showed up. And in that time, about 2 hours intermixed with all kinds of friends, graduates, people I hadn't really talked to for 30 years. All of these memories, all these ideas came back to me about high school. All the things that were important, things that at the time I didn't think were important. We have a tendency that when we look back, that we don't realize how important some of these things are. Even today, as we're sitting here in this rain, this is an important moment. We'll look back at a time about social distancing, buying toilet paper, and pasta in bulk. Now, that may not be important now, but later on it might be. But where do these challenges come from, and why do we have to go through them? I mean, what are the odds of some of these things? We often ask these questions in uncertain times. Initially, we often start with the odds of some life event happening to us. What are the odds of this happening? Now, if you perform the probability calculations on the likelihood of a series of events happening to you, you might be able to explain the probability of an event that happens to just you. But life doesn't just happen to just you. There's all these people here that have showed up that were influences in your life. What were the probabilities that life experiences affected them and affected you? And pretty soon the math becomes almost impossible. So what does this mean on a cold, rainy day? Everybody has a role, and everybody has played a role. For me, 30 years after graduating high school in 1989, I can say with confidence that there isn't a day or hour or minute that goes by devoid of purpose. In my readings of history and biographies and textbooks and so on, and I've read a lot of those, if you take all the scientists, philosophers, academics, politicians, well, maybe we'll leave the politicians off that list for the time being, theologians, all the great thinkers, when they ask why over and over and over again, all of these separate disciplines begin to bump shoulders at a point in time where out of nothing came something. And for you, this is a purpose that has been imbued from the beginning of time into tests that you take, conversations that you have with people, the interactions that you have with staff, the community, events like this. They all have meaning. So to some degree, everything has a high degree of importance, and that's the stamp, that's the definition of purpose. With this in mind, life doesn't just happen to you, life includes you. This perspective is massively important and life-altering, and it has been for me. Within this paradigm, you are important. You as the individual are integral, always. There's no such thing as being at the wrong place at the wrong time, and there are no victims. Earning your high school diploma involves all kinds of important experiences. 13 years, a collection, and even before that, of experiences. The processes are not always understood, or maybe even wanted at the time, but nonetheless are important. So enjoy and ponder this moment. Thank the people around you, in the audience. They had a role and they had a purpose. I also want to take this time to thank those in attendance and online for allowing me to be your superintendent. I treasure every single moment, and they are important to me. The people of Corvallis and all the interactions will always be a life marker for me, and I'll never forget this community and all we've experienced. So it is a distinct pleasure and honor and member of a class of 1989 to welcome you as graduates for the class of 2020.
This morning, we will take a moment to recognize our valedictorian and salutatorians. As I call your name, please go ahead and come up to the stage. So valedictorian Hannah Martin. Hannah is the daughter of Heidi and Doug Martin. Hannah has been involved in volleyball, basketball, track and field, Interact Club, National Honor Society, and Student Council. She is planning on attending Washington State University to attend animal science with a pre-veterinary track. She will then plan to attend graduate school for a large animal veterinarian degree. Miss Hannah Martin. Next, our salutatorian, Christopher Erickson. Christopher is the son of Alexandra Erickson and David Allen. Christopher has been involved in National Honor Society, cross-country, track, and science Olympiad. He is planning on attending Montana State University next year to study mechanical engineering and is planning on becoming an officer in the Marine Corps. Mr. Christopher Erickson. Salutatorian Casey Feisen. Casey Feisen is the daughter of Laura and Daniel Feisen. Casey has been involved in volleyball, National Honor Society, Interact Club, and cheerleading. She is planning on attending Cal Poly San Luis Obispo to study biological sciences, then pursuing medical school to become a physician. Miss Casey Feisen. Salutatorian Hannah Hutchison. Hannah is the daughter of Jody Hutchison and John Hutchison. She participated in volleyball, basketball, track and field, band, National Honor Society, Interact Club, and served as student body president. She is planning on attending Colorado State University to study biomedical science, followed by veterinary medicine. Miss Hannah Hutchison. Would the families of these students please stand and be recognized?
Can everybody hear me? As well as we can. Okay, if somebody asked you if you wanted to hear the good news or the bad news first, you would naturally say bad, right? Okay, so I'm going to begin with some of the things that we missed out on this year due to COVID-19. Number one, we didn't get to wear our college swag on commitment day. We didn't get to execute our senior prank yet. We didn't get to give hugs and handshakes to our favorite teachers. We didn't get to blast music in the senior law on our last day. And I didn't think that I would cry about any of it, because there's always someone who's got it worse. But you should know that it's not selfish to cry, because you realize that one day you walked through the crowded freshman hallway between first and second for the last time. Or cry about the senior nights and senior seasons that didn't happen. Cry about your Thursday lunch dates with, insert name here, that were canceled. Mine were with Carla. And finally, cry that you didn't get to spend your 18th birthday with your best friends. While these things are all we're thinking about, we forget that the 3.6 years we spent in Corvallis High School were full of some great times and some bad times, some trial and error. Here are some things that I learned. Freshman year, I learned that I did not need to study to get a 4.0. No one's watching you, everyone's too consumed within themselves. Taking second place in the Hunger Games to Scott Skelton hurts and will for a few more years. I learned how to write a 5-paragraph essay, and that being an asset to a team means more than possessing physical skills. The best place to eat lunch was the bench next to Mr. Hamill's room, across from your friends sitting against the lockers. And finally, something that doesn't really fit on this list, but I learned how to cope with the passing of my Oma, someone who I thought would be sitting here today watching me give this speech. We were transitioning to something new. We worked hard to stay caught up, but nothing was unbearable, and we made it through to the end of the year, finally feeling like we belonged there. Looking back, those times seem really simple, because no one was concerned with thinking about their futures. Sophomore year, we felt more involved. We went to every single home football game and cheered as loud as we could. We spoke up more in class. We were no longer the stupid freshmen, and we felt the power. I learned that I had to study a little bit to get my grades up, that 4 corners is my favorite conditioning drill ever, that Lord of the Flies is a pretty messed up book, that Mr. Mason will still like you if you're late to his class every single morning, and that late night Super 1 runs are a vital part to every sleepover, and how precious the time spent with the people you love is, and that you would do anything to hold them close to you for the next 3 years. Lastly, I learned how important it is to take every opportunity for a retest that you can, or else you'll have to get a 113% on the advanced algebra final to pull an A. Junior year, things were different. We began taking AP classes, needing to stay and to do homework instead of just choosing to. Some started making their lists of colleges they wanted to go to, and some of us shied away because it was moving so fast and it didn't seem real yet. We all walked into junior year knowing it would be the hardest one yet, school-wise and just growing up and responsibility-wise. I learned that stress affects sleeping patterns, eating behaviors, thoughts, and feelings. So much was expected of us, and we felt the pressure. We were overwhelmed, we were sad. We had a bad day, then a bad practice, and now we have homework. Screw it, we say. We're burnt out and we're not even halfway through the year. God, I can't wait to be a senior. You actually read the textbook? You know, I'm gonna fail the AP test anyways, so I'm not gonna do that. But that's not the case. You do care. Not because your parents will yell at you or because they're gonna take your phone away or not let you go to the party, but because you're 16 or 17 and you know you have potential. You just can't bring yourself to do anything anymore. It's spring break. Aren't you supposed to be hanging out with your friends? I just don't want to get out of bed. I just need a break. 1 week is not enough. But I learned that it's okay to ask for help, that every single person around me has their own insecurities and weaknesses that I'll probably never know about, problems that have nothing and everything to do with school, problems that are gonna get worse before they get better. Junior year was that year for me, trying to stay afloat, but everything was finally coming down on me. And it was just rough. I learned that talking about what's going on in my life teaches me how to deal with the stressor instead of using coping mechanisms that lead to more stress. It goes to show that the time we spend in high school is so important because we experience so many things that determine who we are and who we are going to become. It can feel like it's a holding cell that you're subjected to before you start your actual life. But if we look back on high school as a whole, our time was anything but wasted. We had the discipline to finish quarter 3 while working on quarter 4, force ourselves to sit down and study, take AP tests at home online, all on top of working full-time. Now I'm kind of jumping ahead, so let's just back it up. I guess we're already talking about senior year. At this point, we were not afraid of hard work, and just because it was senior year, we couldn't give up all motivation just yet. We took pictures with our best friends constantly, everywhere, and went to every school function. We played every game like it was our last until it was. In 3, by the way. We played like Robert, fearless, confident, aggressive. We narrowed down our college lists and filled out what seemed to be an endless stream of applications and scholarships. We had prom and watched basketball and wrestling come to a close as what was going on in the world was very new and still confusing to us. We never thought it would happen to us until spring break turned into 2 weeks, 2 weeks turned into 4, a month turned into 2. No one was surprised to get that email that told us Corvallis High School would be closed for the rest of the year. And that brings us back to where we began. Are you ready to hear the good news? We didn't get the ending we all wanted and deserve, and I'm so sorry about that. But we can't forget that high school is only step number one, the place where we build character, form our own opinions, and become who we want to be. We have so much life left to live, so many more sunsets to watch, night drives with the windows down, concerts for your favorite bands, crowded parties, Saturdays with the boys, study group dates, and long nights in the library, college graduation, grad school, your dream career, and beyond. There will come a time for everyone to live again. Someday the quarantine will be officially lifted, protests and riots will be over, and life will go back to normal. But this time it will be different. We will once again be reminded of the beauty that life has to offer. We'll all appreciate company and never take another moment for granted because we know what it's like to have it all taken away from us. We will recognize our privilege and use it to stand with people of color. There will come a time when we'll all live as equals no matter what our race, gender, or sexual orientation is. The national pandemic requires the cooperation of every person in America, but we shouldn't be sad because we didn't get to see our friends for a little while, or because we didn't get to have a conventional senior year. By all means, cry, but also try to feel thankful that we had the opportunity to slow down and think about how good we had it and the times we were missing. Because if we can learn anything from the year 2020, it's that we're all in this together. We should not be silent, and we should appreciate everything. So here's to the class of 2020 that has proved that we surely can make it through anything. I want to take this time to give a couple thank yous to everyone who's watching this graduation right now. To the faculty, throughout the class of 2020's years at Corvallis High School, you've kept your patience and pushed us through our least motivated times. We appreciate your hours of dedicated planning and grading and teaching because we realize that it takes just as much time to teach as it does, and grading and teaching because we realize that it takes just as much time to educate as it does to be educated. You've helped us establish a lifetime of character and good habits. Thank you. To our parents, you've been our teachers, chauffeurs, camera crews, personal stylists, and biggest fans since day one. We have the ability to say that there's someone there for us through everything, and it's an immeasurable blessing. There really is no adequate way to say thank you for everything. We love you. And lastly, to the class of 2020, we've been given everything we need to leave this high school and make something real and impactful. We've learned many things that reach beyond the classroom, what it feels like to be part of a team, the love and loss of friendships, the rush of being on stage or on the court, the freedom of a Friday night, how we choose to react to life not going your way, and so much more. In the process, we've made our mark on the school walls, in school newspapers, in the windows of local businesses. Now the power is in our hands to broaden our horizons and leave a mark on something bigger and better. With some mistakes, some victories, and a few lessons learned under our belts, we may take the next step into the future, and we're all ready. That's it.
As a wise guy once said, I would like to thank my arms for always being by my side, my legs for always holding me up, and my family for always believing in me. There are so many more that I would like to thank, from the faculty to every one of my friends, for pushing me to achieve the most and to never stop trying to succeed. But I was told not to waste time with a 20-minute thank you and just get to a point. I started at Corvallis in kindergarten and remained in the Corvallis school system all the way through high school, like many other students here. I joined various extracurricular activities like cross-country and track and was able to fully understand just how great our community is. My coaches and teammates helped me improve not only physically, but as a member of society, and I have seen the same happen to all of you. The class of 2020 is a group of upstanding citizens, and although our spring semester was spent doing yard work, I'm glad I was able to spend my school years with these people. All of us out here in the middle of a football field are graduating from high school and moving on to the next part of our lives. Although this graduation may not be as glamorous as sitting in the new gym built in the 70s, it's at least better than YouTube.
Some of you may be familiar with the fate of the Greek philosopher Socrates. He was a very intelligent man who lived a long, long time ago, but he was known for giving very long speeches and his friends killed him. So I'm going to learn from his mistakes and keep this short and sweet. I know we feel immortal, and we're supposed to feel that way because we're graduating. Our future is and should be bright, but like our brief 4 years in high school, what makes life valuable is that it doesn't last forever. What makes it precious is that it ends. I know that now more than ever, and I say it today of all days to remind us that time is luck. So don't waste yours living someone else's life. Make yours count for something. Stand up for what you believe in no matter what, because even if we fall short, what better way is there to live? It's easy to feel hopeful on a beautiful day like today, but there will be dark days ahead of us too, and days where we feel all alone, and that's when hope is needed the most. No matter how buried it gets or how lost you feel, you must promise me you will hold on to hope and keep it alive. My wish for you is to become hope. People need that, and even if we fail, what better way is there to live? As we look around here today at all the people who helped make us who we are, I know it feels like we're saying goodbye, but we will carry a piece of each other into everything we do next to remind us of who we are and what we're meant to be. I've had a great 4 years with you all. I'll miss you very much.
Throughout our entire childhood, I bet we could count at least 100 times when we were told by either our parents, teachers, mentors, or even our favorite books, don't be afraid of a challenge. Never give up just because something is hard. Don't do something because someone else is doing it. Strike out, have courage, strive to find solutions when there is none. That's what we were taught since the beginning. We studied examples like the astronauts of Apollo 11 landing on the moon, the discovery of penicillin by Alexander Fleming in 1928, and even Robert Frost when he said to take the road less traveled and it will make all the difference. Because those people chose to do the hard thing. They didn't let a list of risks outweigh the great reward of finding a solution. So to the class of 2020, I'm sorry that it ended like this. I'm sorry that it didn't happen the way we had all been looking forward to for the past 12 years. And most of all, I'm sorry that we had no input in the decision that kept us from being together in what were supposed to be the best few months of our education. It's disappointing that people took the easy way for us when all of our lives we've been told to do the opposite. So we will remember this circumstance and know that if a challenge faces us, we will take it on and not let the fear of risk overwhelm the prospect of success. Win or lose, we will be able to live with the fact that we chose to do the hard thing, knowing that we didn't just owe it to ourselves, but also to everyone around us. Because in the end, there's no greater reward than the feeling that you tried when no one else would. So thank you to the parents and teachers for telling us this. Thank you to everyone who recently taught us the hard way that putting in effort is worth it. And lastly, thank you so much to the class of 2020 who have done so many hard things in the past 4 years. Playing your sport or an instrument in front of hundreds of people is hard. Performing a speech or debating in front of a row of judges is hard. Choosing to take challenging classes to test your knowledge is hard. And to everyone who couldn't do those things because their families needed them, we know that's hard too. These things can turn into greater opportunities for our future because of our decision to try. To the several classmates going into the military to defend our country, that's hard. To everyone going to college to achieve further education, that's hard. And to everyone who will work almost every day starting now, that's hard. Therefore, I am proud to tell you that there is no one who I would rather be graduating with today, alphabetically 6 feet apart on the football field. Thank you.
Greetings from Germany. I am Rika, and I just wanted to say congratulations to the seniors. I'm so proud of you, and I hope you have an amazing day and celebrate your accomplishments. Thank you for letting me be a part of the class of 2020, and I miss you all so much. Bye.
Alright, so I guess this video is going to be played at graduation because, of course, I won't be there because, well, we all know why. But I'll probably follow the ceremony somehow. I think it's going to be streamed, so I'm actually going to spectate my own speech, I guess. Well, even though I have another graduation next year with my Italian high school, I'm really happy to graduate here. I mean, there at Corvallis High School, it was an experience that changed me. The school system is really different from the one we have here, so I'm really grateful that I got to experience both. I want to say thank you a lot to my teachers. They really helped me a lot. I had a really good relationship with every one of them, so thank you guys. And lastly, I wanted to say how proud I am to all my senior friends. You guys were probably my favorite part of my American experience, and even though it had to end early, we had our time and it was beautiful. So I wouldn't change anything. So thank you, everyone, and ciao from Italy.
Say it one more time. There we go. All right, now is the moment that we have all been waiting for, the presentation of the diplomas. We will also have our school board members coming forward. That is Becky Anderson, Tonya Bloom, Sean Bowman, Jennifer Channer, Patrick Daly, Dan Wolski, and Todd Weich.
Madison Grace Beer. Christopher Charles Erickson. Casey Garnett Fison. Hannah Grace Hutchison. Chance Ty Jones. Hannah Joel Martin. Caden J. Ehlers. Charles A. Atwood. Elise Rainier Auk. Rebecca Page Bowes. Caitlin E. Bryan. Nathaniel Isaac Rock. Courtney Ray Brooker. Weston L. Bueller. Isaac Ray Campbell. Katana Lynn Carlson. Rachel L. Cassins. Ashlyn Michelle Charles. Danielle Renee Coates. Garrett D. Corbin. Mercedes Ann Covert. Tristan M. Davis. Lily Ann Day. Samuel Jesus de la Luz Martinez. Carmen Saray Marie Ebson. Isabel Page Evans. Cheyenne S. Fish. Jacob J. Flowers. Robert William Flowers. Shay Leilani Flynn. Olivia Frances French. Christian E. Friend. Ethan M. Gager. Cecily Ann Gerber. River Michael Gladwin. Matthew B. Glenn. Timothy Reed Gold. Sabrina R. Goodnight. Trey R. Gross. Reagan Marcella Halleck. Julian Brock Hamilton. Mackenzie Lynn Heller. Cole Thomas Henry. Maria Margaret Hickey. Ryan Edward Hubbard. Jalen Marie Jackson. Ruby Elaine Jackson. Amelia Dawn Jessup. Carter L. Jessup. Coulter J. Jessup. Dale Shandy Jessup. Kaylee Ann Jordan. Megan Joy Kirkland. Cody Mitchell Kerner. Evan Thomas Lee. Deanne Marie Lewis. J. Mark Emmanuel Leadley. Martina Elizabeth Madsen. Taylor Ann Markert. Matthew C. Marshall. Mark S. Maxey. Jada Dawn McConnell. Kenneth R. Minch. Gavin Russell Murray. Clayton Creel Morrison. Quentin Scott Nelson. Darius Joel Nisley. Ashlyn Gale Nixon. Charlie Allen Palacios. Hayden S. Pease. Kylie Shea Pease. Cassidy Lorraine Potter. Matthew J. Powell. Connor Riley Province. Elizabeth Mary Ramsdorf. Chelsea V. Reed. Image A. Reisman. Daphne Lakin Reynoso. Alexis Christine Rhodes. Alexandra E. Root. Chelsea Rebecca Sheaver. Audrey Renee Schlosser. Scott James Skelton. Jennifer Ruth Stoker. Keely May Starwood. James Peter Talia. David R. Thurman. Quincy M. Tripp. Cassandra B. Turner. Rachel N. Venema. Jaden J. Walker. Lexus Marie Walker. Cole Wayne Walls. Caleb George Rankin. Jennifer Pauline Watt. Christina K. Weidkamp. Cassidy Jean Whiteow. Derek K. Wiseweaver Gasvoda. Seth E. Welch. Briar Wynn Elizabeth Wang. Brianna J. Williams. Paul M. Williams. Camilla Danielle Wright. Connor Patrick Yetter. Presley Ann Zimmerman.
All of you rise. So ladies and gentlemen, I present to you Corvallis High School's class of 2020.